Hey, what is up, everyone? This is Kinda Coding, and I want to try to work on a Blackjack game. So I'm going to be using JavaScript and HTML, and I'm going to be attempting to use CSS, but I'm not very good at CSS. So might as well get started. Feel free to follow along, make fun of me, do whatever you need to do. So I'm going to create my files. First, I'll make my index.html, and I'm going to create it. I already created my folder, so I'll save it right in there. And then I will create a new file and another new file. Save as style.css. app.js. So I'm going to go ahead and do my exclamation mark, and then I just hit tab so that I can have this auto-filled so I don't have to type it because I'm lazy. And let's go ahead and change this into Blackjack real quick. And let's save it all. So let's go ahead and reveal in File Explorer and click on this open with Google Chrome. And you can see it says Blackjack right there, so that's what we wanted. That's really the only change I've made so far. So let's go ahead and get started with filling out our index.html file. I want to fill in that CSS sheet that I just created, and that looks good. I love that it auto does that for you. And then I'm going to go ahead and do my script, and it's called app.js. Cool. So I think all I want to do to start off with, because I want to see some progress, is have a button that I can click that will display a card on the screen. So it's not necessarily going to be a random card, it's just going to be a card from a deck. So I will create a class, or I'll first create the button, and I'll give it an ID of hit button because it's Blackjack and hit sounds cool. Okay, and then I also want something called a status. And what this will do, well, I'll start off with saying welcome, and I want it to display whatever card that I've generated. So let's start as saying welcome, and then we'll go ahead and edit that later on in the JavaScript. So the only other thing that I want is an actual slot for the cards. So I'll do cards slot, because I think we'll have multiple cards there. And I just want to identify that it's going to be temporary. And I don't need to put any text in there. Let's go ahead and save all those changes and go into the app.js. So, first thing that we need is a card, and like all playing cards, this should have a suit, and this should have a value at least to start off with. So whenever I create a card, I need to give it a suit and a value. So I'll do suit in and suit. Oops. Value in. It's a little early here. There you go. Alright, so I think that's good, right? So every card will have a suit and a value. Now the cards aren't just going to come out of nowhere, so I have to create a deck class that's going to hold all those cards in it. I don't think I need to pass anything into it as a parameter, so I'm just going to create a value as collection. So the collection will hold a collection of cards in an array. So the first thing I'll need to do is create a build function. So I don't want to put build deck, I just want to put build, so it'd be like deck.build. And I'll create two arrays. Oops. Let's. So I just need to fill these up. Right. So all the possible suits, we have clubs, diamonds, hearts, and spades. That looks good, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. And here we'll do all the values. 2, 3, 4, 10, 14. So it has the numeric values of 2 through 10, and then if once you're greater than 10, you're ace, jack, queen, king. So that's good. So I'm sure there's a way more efficient way to do this, but I'm going to use nested for loops. So I will say suit index less than, and we want to go through all the suits. Okay, that looks good. Let's just copy this again and put it into the nested one. And this will be value instead of suit. That's values. Let's just change this real quick. Alright, does that make sense? Yes. So I want to do one thing really quick and then I'll explain what I'm doing here. Alright, cool. So basically we are saying that we want to iterate through every suit, and through every suit we want to also iterate through every value of the suit. So I just instantiated a current value and current suit variable so that I don't have to type out this out every time. It's not really that big of a deal, but it's just something I like to do. So at every step we want to create a new card, right? So we're going to push a new card to the collection right here of the deck, and it would have a current suit and current value. This way we create a deck with all the possible suits and values that we gave it in these two arrays. And then, just because I like to print to the console, I want to write deck built and then a bunch of dots because we like to be dramatic. Does this make sense? Yep, that looks good. So save all. And then just to test it out, I'm going to put an onClick method here, and I'll put d.build, and then I of course have to instantiate that object d equals new deck and save it. So we can go ahead and check that out, see what happens. Yep, we have our hit and our welcome. So I'm going to inspect, check out the console, and then click hit. Deck built. And then we built 6 decks, which is not necessarily what we want to do in the end game, but at least we know it works. So let's see here. The next thing I want to do is probably create a draw function. Yeah, so let's create a draw function. And in this function, I want to create a variable, or a temporary variable called call, or drawn card. And we'll set it equal to this.collection.pop, which is super cool because we could just say the last card on the deck is the card we draw. Then we just want to return that drawn card. And that should be really all we needed to do as far as that is concerned. I think the next thing I want to do here is create a player class. Yeah, let's do that. And I want to pass in what's going on here. Why is this showing up as an error? Did I spell this wrong? Oh, I have parentheses here. I always do this. This is not a function. Alright, so this dot title is equal to, and then this dot hand is equal to. So I'm going to pass it in a title. And in the hand, that looks good. Title is equal to title, and just setting those variables equal to each other. And then the hand will be an array of cards, just like the collection for the deck. I think that's all we need right now, so we'll keep going. And I want to create a hit function. So I need to decide where I'm hitting from, so I'm going to put in a deck as the parameter and create an instance of a card. Draw. So basically what this is doing, it is running the draw function on the deck that I pass into it, and then because that function returns a drawn card, I set that equal to a temporary variable in this function. And then I'm just going to simply this hand.push, and I'm going to push that drawn card. Simple enough. Then the next thing I want to do is console.log drawn card. So let's go ahead and save all, and then I need to create d.build, and then p equals new player, and we'll call it Rebecca. Oops. Rebecca. That's fine. Rebecca's. Okay. And then we simply want to come here and change this to p dot hit d. So we're hitting the deck D that we built for player P. Save all. Oops. And let's go ahead and hit. And I mean, that's pretty cool because it shows us the variables associated with the card. That's not necessarily how we want it to go, so we should create a function in the card class that turns the card into a string. So I'll call it toString. And it should be pretty simple, so let's just create a temporary variable called card string. Equals this dot value. But if not sure why player came up there, but it happens. Alright, that looks good, right? So if it's anything greater than 10, so if it's 11, 12, 13, or 14, we don't want to say the card is 11 of spades, we want to say it's ace of spades. So if this dot value is equal to 11, and we'll just copy this because we're lazy. Mess up, of course, because that's how we do it. 12, 13, 14. Then we just say value string is equal to ace. And once again, we're going to copy that because, like I said, I'm lazy. And this will be Jack, Queen, and King. Does that make sense? Yes. So 11, ace, 12, Jack, 13, Queen. Yep. Cool. So at the end, we just have to create the new string. So card string is equal to value string plus of this dot suit. Okay. Said, why is that coming up like this? Oh, forgot the plus sign. Gotta concatenate, right? And then we just want to return that string. Simple enough. So instead of just printing out the drawn card, we want to print out to the console toString. And let's see what happens. Yep, that works. So the only other thing I want to change here is I want to say who drew the card. So this dot title plus drew a or an, because you got to be correct in case there's an ace. Drawn card dot toString. So let's just test that out really quick again. Yeah, Rebecca's. So there's multiple Rebecca. Yeah, that works. Cool. So I think the only other thing that I need to really worry about before I start generating the card to the screen is creating a game class. So let's go ahead and do this. And this will kind of call all the functions from our other classes. So let's go ahead and make our constructor. And I don't think I need to pass anything to the game class, but I would like to create new objects of the other classes I made, so I don't have to have it down here. Oops. This player is equal to new player. Let's go ahead and pass it in Rebecca's again. Oh, even better. Rebecca's. Okay, and then this is going to be temporary, so I'm just going to write myself a note. Temporary. This deck.build. Cool. And then I want to create a status message variable. ID, and then it's going to be, what is the status message ID? I want to create this into a temporary variable into my program, so it has a status message ID. So I just plug that in right here. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So let's go ahead and start a function here. I'll call it player hit. And this will call this dot players hit on the deck that belongs to this class, or whatever belongs to the object of this class that we create. Then we just want to say this dot status message dot inner HTML is equal to this dot player dot hand, and then we want the last card that was drawn. So toString. So the last card that was drawn, this is going to be kind of lengthy. This dot player dot hand dot length -1. Is that right? Yeah, so we want to grab the last card of the hand. So go ahead and save that. Let's go ahead and open this up again and test it out. And it didn't really do anything. So why is that? Oh, because we never called it in index.html. So I can get rid of all this because this all belongs in my constructor of game class. So I just need to create a game class. Okay, new game. Cool. So coming right here, and this turns into main.player hit. That should do the trick. Let's try it out. Yep, look at that. Everything is there. It says king, queen, and jack and ace for all of the cards instead of 11, 12, 13, and 14. And yeah, so that looks good. So the only other thing that I want to do, because I said I want to do it, is print out this card image to the screen. So I think I'm going to do that with CSS, so I'm not going to actually use an image. And I think that requires me to do something in the card class. So I think I want to say generate, because generate sounds kind of cool. And then I'm going to need to create elements. So I need to create like div elements. So first I'll create the card element. Create element. And it'll be a div. Now I want to say card.className is equal to card. Simple enough. Then we go ahead and copy this 2 more times. And instead of card, this will now be suit. And this will be card suit. And this will be value, value, card, value. And this should actually be suit over here. I forgot to change that. So we now want to say value.inner HTML is equal to this .toString. But what that will return is this, and we don't want to print that on the card, so we need to make a helper function here. So I'll just call it value toString. And let's just say this is the helper, because it's very helpful. And then this will be the helped. Oops. Alright, and actually I could probably just copy this into here and return value string. Just get rid of this here. Return value string. Yep, that all looks good. So I can get rid of this nonsense. And this just turns into value.toString. Cool. So in generate, this dot value toString. And what that'll do is it'll give us this instead, which works great. Actually, you know what? This should probably be A, J, Q, because when you see a card, you don't see the whole word written, you just see the first symbol. So I'm going to save. And then what I have to do is create the symbols for I need to create the symbols for the suits. So I'm going to look it up online. So it would be -u symbols for playing card suits. Okay, yeah, so this works, right? I'm going to go with the full colored ones. That just looks cooler to me. So let's go ahead and get these ready and plugged in there. So we'll just do some more if-else statements like we did earlier. I'm sure this could be a switch statement too, no big deal. It's not like there's a whole bunch of different possibilities, so for else ifs, I'm not going to complain about it, but leave a comment if you do have a problem with it. Okay, let's just copy and paste like we did before. This is equal to diamonds, hearts, and spades. Then we say suit.inner HTML is equal to and it is U2663. And we'll copy that. 66. This is 65. And this last one is 60. Sweet. So that created the inner HTML for both the value and now the suit. So we just need to append to the card that we just created the suits and the values. And it actually would be append child, not just append. Okay, and then finally, and get element by ID, append child. We want to append the card to the card slot that we created up here. And we'll save it. So that's all fun and games. So in the hit function of the player class, because we call that in here, we will probably want to generate that card. So drawn card dot generate, and let's just see what happens. Ooh. Cannot read property append child of none in 58. She's 58. Ah, that's the problem. It's card. Okay, I guess not. Document. Well, that's really weird. Let me just copy and paste it. There we go. So Rebecca's drew a key of spades, queen of spades. And there you go. There's a bunch of little cards there. So I think the next thing I want to do here is actually have the suit underneath the value. And we're going to have to deal with stupid CSS, which I'm not very good at. So let's give it a try. So I think first we'll get rid of our margins. And then our padding, do the same. Nope. Got our colons. Then we created card. So card will have, I want to give it in block display. And then give it a height of, because it's a little bit taller than it is wide. Then go ahead and give it a border, 1 pixel, solid border, and it will be black. Then finally we'll give it a background color. Ooh, blanched almond, that sounds cool. Oh wait, corn silk sounds cooler. So let's just save that. And the cards are all printing out there. So just to make the background stick out, let's see if this will do anything. Oh, not sure what happened there. Got a little click happy. Oh, that's weird. Okay. That's not where we want it. Maybe in the body. See, told you I hate CSS. Honestly, not sure why there's an issue here. So we'll figure it out next time. I guess what we could do is say the card color is equal to corn silk, and then the background color is equal to black. Let's see what happens now. I don't know why I keep closing out of it. There we go. That shows up a little bit nicer. And let's just change that to gray. Ooh, ghost white. That's cool. Yep, that works for me. Cool. So, go ahead and leave a comment, leave some hate, leave some love, whatever you need to do. Give me a thumbs up, and I can keep making videos like this and hopefully finish up this Blackjack project. Yeah, thanks a lot. See ya.